Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first Comic Book Authority podcast. I'm your host, Joshua.
And I'm Dominic.
We're going to talk about 3 talking points on today's podcast. We're going to be talking about the Inhumans trailer, our thoughts on the Spider-Man PlayStation 4 game, and our main topic of the first ever Comic Book Authority podcast, an in-depth review of Spider-Man Homecoming.
Are you ready for this, Josh?
Yep. Let's do it.
Sooner or later, the humans are going to find us up here.
You should have known this day was coming.
Are we supposed to follow our king and remain as silent as he is? We need to go to Earth now. We've been hiding here too long. Let's go to our rightful home. If we were on Earth, we would have a glorious planet to live on, thrive on.
You're talking about betraying your brother. You're talking about treason.
You're blind to his intentions. Right or wrong, he's dangerous.
What I'm talking about is freedom. Freedom for all Inhumans. Are you going to use your voice to kill your only brother? Stop it! What the?
We will not let anyone or anything stop us. We will create our destiny. Nothing can keep us from being free.
What are your thoughts on Inhumans? On the first ever Inhumans trailer?
Personally, I was never that big of an Inhumans fan, but this trailer just pushes me away from ever becoming a huge Inhumans fan.
It's garbage.
Yeah, it's just...
I'm sorry, but it's just really bad. It's like a bad soap opera. Looking at the acting and just Black Bolt getting beaten and by cops with their batons, and then he's saying it just ugh, and the car flips over. That's just, oh my god.
It honestly reminds me of like one of those fan-made films you see on YouTube.
Or bad 90s action hero.
And they had so much potential because Black Bolt is fucking amazing.
He's a beast.
Like, the character of Black Bolt is something I've always loved, but they just badly use him in everything.
And the whole thing is he's a silent beast of a person because he knows once he opens his mouth, he'll destroy everything.
Yep.
Like, I read World War Hulk, and he's fighting the Hulk Worldbreaker, and he's, like, screaming. Like, he's not whispering. He's screaming, and, like, I don't know what planet they're on. I think, like, the moon or whatever celestial planet the Inhumans are from, and he just destroys the planet with his thing, and the Hulk kills him.
Let's just talk about Lockjaw for a second. Lockjaw looks like some 80s CGI. Like, you're telling me Disney like owns Marvel, right?
And it's coming to IMAX.
But they couldn't get a better looking character than what they have with Lockjaw? Like, what? Like, how is that possible? How did they go in the meetings after this trailer was completed, after they viewed it, and they're like, yeah, this is great. The fans are really going to love this. No, it doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I'm definitely not watching it in IMAX. I might watch the first few episodes when it reaches ABC.
I'm telling you this right now. If they're gonna charge you to go to an IMAX theater or something to
20
watch
bucks.
this, whoever the fuck pays to go watch this in an IMAX theater, I have some sand on a beach that I'm willing to sell you because this is ridiculous.
How did Medusa look?
I mean, her fucking dress was awesome. Her hair was cool.
You thought her hair was cool?
Yeah.
It looks like a disgusting wig. It doesn't
Man,
even look like it's alive.
For the shit that is that first trailer, she was a godsend in my opinion. She looked awesome. But that's just my opinion.
But the hair is supposed to be like
Living, yeah.
living.
Yeah.
And it looks like even look at the poster of it. It looks really horrible.
I don't know. I just think she looks cool. They'll probably fuck her character up like they did.
And you got Ramsay Bolton as the villain Maximus.
Let me
Games of Thrones fame.
let me just say this, okay? Hopefully, I'm wrong, and hopefully the show is amazing. Hopefully we look back on this and we say, wow, we were both idiots for, talking bad about what became an amazing series. But I won't hold my breath.
Now let's talk about something that we're both interested in ever since E3 came out. How about Spider-Man PS4?
As a person who owns an Xbox, I'm a little jealous that this is coming on the PlayStation 4.
I watched the whole gameplay trailer live, and I was tripping balls the entire time. It was amazing. It's going to be the leading factor why I would buy a PS4.
Really? Over like in Uncharted and Last of Us 2 and all that?
All this over that is one Spider-Man game. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just because Spider-Man's my boy. He's my favorite hero. And I have some thoughts about Spider-Man Homecoming.
We're going to get into that a little bit later. That'll probably take up the majority of this show. So,
Wait, what did you think about the gameplay? Like, I know story-wise, I kind of know where they're going with the gameplay for...
honestly, like,
Spider-Man PS4.
from that one gameplay trailer that I saw, it looks like all the other Spider-Man games in terms of gameplay, mixed with some Batman Arkham gameplay, but
Which is
like
perfect for
Batman
Spider-Man.
Arkham Light gameplay.
But again, Arkham didn't make sense because Batman doesn't have little sensors going
Yes,
off for
yes.
attacks. They literally
It's
thought
a
of-
perfect pairing with Spider-Man.
Yeah. But story-wise, I have a feeling Spider-Man PS4 is going to be heavily revolving around the Dan Slott run of Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have an experienced Spider-Man. He's probably going to be working for Horizon Labs
Yep.
because the main villain, or the villain in the gameplay footage, was
I forget. We can pull it
Mr.
up.
Negative. Amadeus Cho. No, is it Amadeus Cho? I believe it's Amadeus
Hold on.
Cho.
This is why we have Google.
It's Mr. Negative. A slot invention.
Martin Lee.
Sorry, Martin Lee. Amadeus Cho is the
The
new
Incredible
Hulk.
Hulk. Yes.
So Martin Lee is Mr. Negative, and if they're gonna adapt the best part of Dan Slott's run, I hope it's Big Time, which they're looking like they're gonna be incorporating with all the new web shooter functions.
I didn't really read much of Dan Slott's run. Was any member of the original Sinister Six besides Doc Ock in his run?
All his villains, Dan Slott, in his run, he pretty much had all the villains, but he mostly focused on Doc Ock, and all the other villains were just like side characters.
Do you think that
And
maybe
the-
like Shocker, Vulture, especially with
See-
what is Spider-Man Homecoming, will be like minor side bosses in the game?
See, this is the thing with Dan Slott's run. Marvel was pushing for new Spider-Man villains.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Mr. Negative came in, and what was the other stupid MJ villain / hero that they tried to introduce? Under
Oh,
Dan Slott?
from Renew Your Vows?
No, can't remember. That's how much I hated the character. It
Komodo?
no.
No. Well, Sorry about this, folks. This is the first podcast, so a little bit of a hiccup.
Basically, I forget the name. It looked like it was MJ because the character was masked and had red hair, and it was fucking bullshit. This is probably gonna be edited out, but all right.
I hope the gameplay is good because
Yeah.
like a story is fine. A great story in a game is fine, but if a game has amazing gameplay that after I beat the game, I can want to replay it just for the gameplay, that's the main.
I think they
key
aced
for me.
the swinging.
Yeah, it looks very good.
I just hope that they don't fuck around with the DLCs. I want unlockable suits in game, not
Yep.
this bullshit
Yep.
DLC. I want hundreds of suits.
And please, Xbox, if you're hearing this, I know you probably won't hear this, but if you do hear this, please make the Spider-Man games that came out on Xbox 360 backwards compatible.
How
with
about
the Xbox One?
original PS2, Xbox One, Xbox?
Yeah,
PS2.
like the Spider-Man 2 game.
Yeah,
Please make that work on my Xbox
especially
One,
now. Especially
so that
now.
I don't sell it and buy a PlayStation 4.
No, but they're also. Do you know they're doing backwards compatible for original Xbox games?
Yes.
So they can
So
do
I
Spider-Man
hope
2.
They put Spider-Man 2 there. Knowing them,
I
they
would buy an
probably
Xbox
won't.
just for that, but again, I own the PS2 Spider-Man game, so I'll just hook up my PS2 Slim.
Yep.
It's like the size of a book. It's the tiniest console I ever owned.
Yes. Before we get into our Spider-Man Homecoming in-depth review, warning, there's going to be a lot of spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie, please don't. If you want to be spoiled, you can go ahead and listen. But if you don't want to be spoiled, come back after you've seen the movie. Before we get into our in-depth review, we'd like to send our deepest condolences to the one, the only Mr. Stan Lee on the untimely passing of his wife, Joan.
69 years.
Yeah, of marriage, which is rather insane. We're just going to have a moment of silence before we get into our Homecoming review.
Hello, everyone, and we're talking about now the Spider-Man Homecoming.
Are you ready, kids?
Showtime.
It's showtime.
It's showtime.
Showtime.
Showtime, motherfucker!
Finally, here we go.
Good evening, Peter.
Whoa!
You have 576 possible web shooter combinations.
That is awesome. I can keep that suit?
Yeah, doesn't fit me.
So when's our next retreat?
What, next mission? We'll call you. All right?
That's not a hug. I'm just grabbing the door for you. We're not there yet. All right, kid. Good luck out there.
Hey, Peter. You coming tonight? I can tonight. I got the Stark internship. What's up, guys? Mr. Stark, here's my report for tonight. I stopped the Grand Theft bicycle. Hey, could you do me a favor? Hold on to that. Is this anybody's bike?
Oh, I helped this old lady and she bought me a churro. So, that was nice.
I just feel like I could be doing more. Wait a minute. You guys aren't the real Avengers. Hulk gives it away. New move I'm working on? Not bad. Oh, God, this feels so strange. These weapons are crazy dangerous.
Listen, Peter, there are people who handle this sort of thing. Can't you just be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man?
Let go of me! Let go of me!
Activating parachute.
The world's changing, boys. It's time we change too.
This is my chance to prove myself.
We have a Spanish quiz.
You gotta get better at this part of the job.
I don't understand. I'm intimidated. Oh, hey, guys.
My friends are up there. Hey, where are you going? What are you hiding, Peter? I'm just kidding. I don't care. Bye.
There's a ton of other subsystems in here, but they're all disabled by the training wheels protocol.
I'm sick of Mr. Stark treating me like a kid.
But you are a kid.
Yeah, a kid who can stop a bus with his bare hands.
This review is going to be all over the place because we've seen the movie a few days ago.
Yeah.
And we're going to just go by what scenes we love the most and how we feel about the movie as a whole.
And we're also going to speak about some things that we really disliked. We may have a rant or two between the two of us.
Oh, yeah.
So if you like rants, this is your place.
All right. First off, to clarify, I loved this Spider-Man movie. I love Spider-Man Homecoming. It's actually my second favorite Spider-Man movie ever made. My favorite was Spider-Man 2, and this is Spider-Man Homecoming is my second favorite. And the reason why, we'll soon find out. But the movie starts off with 8 years ago, I believe, and it starts off with Michael Keaton fixing up Ground Zero of when the
Avengers.
After the Avengers movie. And finding out that his business has just been ruined because of Tony Stark and his new business called
Damage
Damage
Control. Which is kind of cool because they were in the comics. So
yeah, so it gave logical reason why he would do the way why Michael Keaton's character
sort of turned into such a villain, you know?
And I have to say, best Marvel villain since Loki.
Michael Keaton?
Yeah. He's just like Beetlejuice and Batman together.
Yeah, but to be fair, would you call either Cap or Iron Man a villain per se in Civil War?
No, it was just a Civil War.
Well,
neither. I was Team Iron Man for Civil War just
really?
Because my boy Spidey was.
See, I'm Team Cap, all the way.
Fuck Cap! I got Spidey on my back.
Let's not go into tangents about that. Honestly, I'm just happy that Herman Schultz is the Shocker.
Oh, didn't he get blow up?
The white guy got blown up, but
that's
then
their OG, wasn't that Herman Schultz?
Yes. Yeah, that's kind of true.
That's my Shocker.
Disregard that. I'm just happy the Shocker is back.
I love the Shocker. The whole Shocker number 1 and Shocker number 2.
Yeah.
I loved how now you're the Shocker now, kid.
Yeah.
But we're jumping ahead. All right, trying to stay on track now. So after it jumps from 8 years ago, it jumps to the present day.
Yep.
With Michael Keaton stealing and arriving in his lair.
He took the Vulture equipment. He captured some Vulture equipment and had the Tinkerer work on the suit for him.
I love the Tinkerer.
Yeah, he was cool.
The Tinkerer, at the end of the film, they don't know where the Tinkerer is off to. So he's probably making gadgets.
Yep.
Stealing.
Probably gonna fucking, I don't know, burst him and Gorgon out of jail, you know?
Okay.
How do you feel?
Wait, so we went from the Shocker. We saw pretty much his whole team.
Yep.
In the first 10 minutes of it.
Yep.
Then it jumps to, which is arguably my favorite part of the film, of the vlogging of Spider-Man and Spider-Man getting into the grounds of Civil War, where he's in his old suit, and then he's just hassling Happy Hogan, and I just love that dynamic, just him
and Happy.
Yeah, just him annoying the shit out of Happy because I could,
like a child that he is.
Yeah, I just love that, and he gets his new suit from Stark, and then fast forward from that, and then you wind up in the trailer scene where he's in the car with Tony Stark, telling him, "I could keep the suit." And
how do you feel about some of the characters?
Okay, the characters.
Like in terms of like.
Well, I'm gonna go with one of my side rants. This is gonna be my biggest issue.
Okay.
As much as I love this film, and I love it dearly, but my main issue with this film is Spider-Man's motivation in the entire film.
Okay.
He has no motivation.
He does have a motivation.
His motivation is to be part of the Avengers.
Exactly. That's a huge motivation for Spider-Man.
That's not my Spider-Man's motivation.
But this is not.
Where's the great power comes great responsibility? He was more Spider-Man in Civil War than he was in this movie. He even said, when you have that power to do nothing, he also references in Civil War a version of great power comes great responsibility.
Okay.
But you don't see that motivation that I and Peter and the comic book Peter Parker has. Uncle Ben dies, and he vows to use his power for good.
Okay.
His motivation is to be on the Avengers like a little fucking brat.
Yes, but to be fair, we skipped the origin, right?
But his motivation should be still there.
But
that's my main thing.
In helping out New York and being the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man like Tony Stark tells him to be, that's his motivation. His motivation is probably
to be in Avengers Tower. His motivation is to be with the Avengers.
Yes, but by doing the things that he did in the film.
I'm interning for Mr. Tony Stark. I mean, as much as I love this film, it's just missing that whole Uncle Ben and I have to do good.
Okay. I see your point.
That's my main flaw with this film.
Okay. Branching off of that, how do you feel about some of the castings?
I loved Betty Brant.
Do you feel like, knowing that this isn't really canon, right?
No, it's definitely canon.
But I mean, this is an alternate universe, a mix between the Ultimate Spider-Man, Peter Parker,
this is
616.
Basically Amazing Spider-Man. Basically, Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man is based off of 3 different Spider-Man. Ultimate Spider-Man, Dan Slott's Spider-Man run, and original 1960s Stan Lee and Steve Ditko's Spider-Man.
So how do you feel about Michelle?
Michelle, don't get me...
being nicknamed MJ. Do you feel that in this universe that's self-contained,
It's not self-contained.
Do you find any fault in it?
Yes, I find fault. It's not self-contained. It's part of the universe now.
Okay.
And Michelle.
Yes.
Just wanted to give you a little MJ at the end.
Yes.
If you're gonna do Ultimate Spider-Man, just do Ultimate Spider-Man. Make MJ, not Michelle. Make her say, "Hi, MJ."
Yeah.
Don't make her Michelle. I don't have any friends, but my friends call me Michelle. MJ. MJ in the Ultimate Comics universe was the best thing about Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man. They were high school boyfriend, girlfriend. They were on again, off again. And she loves Peter Parker. And she finds out very early on in Ultimate Spider-Man that Spider-Man is
Peter Parker.
Peter Parker. And instead of the fat Ned Leeds now that we get that's playing a Yankee rip-off again from the Ultimate Spider-Man universe.
That's really weird. Do you think that...
Do you know what he's from?
Do you think that Ned will become the Hobgoblin like he's supposed to?
Absolutely not. Because Ned...
But then why even name him Ned Leeds? Why not name him something else?
Because you need him to be in the... That's why I told you, part of old Spider-Man 616 universe. Ned Leeds is a co-worker for Spider-Man in the Daily Bugle.
Yeah.
Back in the day. Back in the comics. Now Ned Leeds is a high school student with Peter. But he's a poor man's substitute for Miles Morales' Ultimate Spider-Man because he had a best friend named Genki.
Mm-hmm.
Genki is pretty much Ned Leeds in this film. He is...
Why not just call him Genki?
Because then you're bringing in Miles Morales.
But you've already brought in Miles Morales in this movie because
That's-
Donald Glover plays the Prowler, and he speaks about how he has a nephew to take care of. His nephew is Miles Morales.
Yes, but I think that was just a big Easter egg.
I think
Because that
honestly, I think they're pointing in that direction.
But his Prowler is not the superhero Prowler.
His Prowler is the villain Prowler.
Yeah.
See, what I think they're going to
He's not Hoagie Brown's Prowler.
Yes, but what I think they're going to do is they're going to have Peter, Tom Holland, be Spider-Man in the Infinity War, and he's either going to die or get injured or give up the mantle so that Miles Morales can be Spider-Man in the upcoming movie.
No, they're not going to do that.
You don't think so?
No, they're banking way too much on Peter Parker right now. Because if you're going to do a Spider-Man, you have to do Peter Parker. As much as I would love to see an Ultimate Spider-Man, you have to first... His popularity is not to the same extent as Peter Parker.
That's true.
And Peter Parker's story, at least the story that I want to see of Peter Parker, not wanting to be in the Avengers, that was the most at the end of the film when he was shown the Iron Spider uniform and saying, "No thanks, Mr. Stark. I want to be what you said, the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man."
Yep.
That's the most Spider-Man I've seen of him in the entire film.
Okay.
Just because he's finally taking on neighborhood's responsibilities instead of being part of his grand Avenger scheme that he had for the whole freaking film. But
okay, if you don't mind, I'm going to go on a
wait,
little mini rant.
But we didn't finish talking about the characters.
Okay.
The Easter eggs.
Well, my mini rant has to do with one character in particular.
Well, we'll list them down and how we like them.
Okay.
I loved Betty Brant's. The only time you see Betty Brant is
when she was reporting.
Yeah,
that was great. That was great.
Yeah, that's a fun little Easter egg because that's Peter Parker's next love after Liz Allen.
Yep.
Liz Allen.
Oh, let's not talk about Liz Allen because, God willing, she won't be in any more of the films.
Or
I'm not saying the
I
actress
should
was
say-
bad. I'm just saying that the direction they took with her character was weird.
Or I say Liz Toombs.
Yeah, Liz Toombs, not Liz Allen.
No,
let's be honest.
I had a feeling Michelle was supposed to be Liz. Sorry, everybody. I thought Michelle was supposed to be Liz in this movie. But then they got scared halfway through and changed it.
That could have worked.
Because Michelle could have been named, since you didn't know her last name throughout the entire film.
Yep.
It could have been Michelle Toombs.
Yep.
And she also looked biracial.
Yep.
Not... I don't want to get into Sticky's territory here, but she was not as dark.
It's more believable Michael Keaton would be her father than it is that he would be Liz Allen's father.
And it felt like both Sony and Marvel felt a little bit
pressured
to make
the cat. I'll just come out and say it. I think Marvel felt, if you look at the trend that they were doing in their books before they recently are going to do their new, I guess, reboot, they brought in a lot of diversity. And as a mixed person myself, I don't think there's anything wrong with diversity.
No, me neither.
I just think that it kind of felt shoehorned.
Oh, yeah.
That he was in love with Liz Allen.
It just somehow fits with Michelle more than it does Liz Allen, because
he
Liz
has more
Allen.
chemistry, in my opinion, with the actress that played Michelle, and the on-screen chemistry is deeper with the Michelle character than it was with Liz Allen, because she never said anything of,
and you got less screen.
Nothing of value came from her.
And
she was just a damsel in distress.
And you got less screen time with Michelle, so it would make it more impactful.
Yep.
That shit, Michelle is related to, but I had a feeling they were going the Ultimate Spider-Man route with this girl Michelle, but didn't want to make her MJ.
Yep.
But then it's flip it and saying, "Oh, it's actually the villain. I've been dating her since the beginning of the movie," and now you realize that it's.
That would make more sense.
I had a feeling it feels like it when I watched the movie.
The twist we're talking about, if you guys haven't seen the movie and want to know, is Peter asked out Liz Allen to the homecoming
dance.
She agrees. He then proceeds to get a nice suit.
We're going way
and
ahead.
some dancing lessons with Aunt May.
That's funny.
And then he goes to pick her up, and who answers the door? But Michael Keaton, the Vulture.
Yeah, Adrian Toomes.
Yep.
I love the interaction between them
In the car.
Yeah,
That sold the movie for me.
yeah,
That
exactly.
sold the movie for me.
But we're jumping way ahead. Let's jump back. We'll get back to that whole scene
Yep.
because we're getting
When
that
we
was
speak
like
about
the
our
best.
favorite scenes.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Flash. I have a rant.
Oh wait. Before Flash.
Okay.
Okay. Sexy Aunt May. I
disagree with it. Personally, I think it's terrible, but I can see why they're doing it because Aunt May has always been like a character that really you have to love the books in order to love Aunt May, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So now that Marissa Tomei is younger and she's more witty, and she has jokes, the dynamic with her and Tony Stark can be played on more.
They used to date in real life.
If she was an old woman, it wouldn't work.
I have a love-hate relationship with Marissa Tomei as Aunt May.
Yeah.
Man. I love her as Aunt May. It's just that
she's not.
Again,
Aunt
it
May.
doesn't. I love her as Aunt May, but the motivation still doesn't feel like Spider-Man's and Peter Parker's whole thing.
Yep.
It didn't feel like Peter Parker was struggling at all with money, and neither did Aunt May. Like, how do they afford their life in Queens? Like, Peter, I would accept the motivation where Peter wants to be part of the Avengers to get that Tony Stark money.
Yep.
But it never even occurred to him about money.
Yep.
It's like all that shit is bought and paid for already.
Yep.
But I just want a Spider-Man who's struggling with money and has an
more
aunt
relatable to everyone else.
or has an aunt that literally broke down when Uncle Ben died.
Yep.
And she can't do anything.
On
and
her own.
she's obsessed with Peter and knowing where he is all the time. Like, she's almost reverting back to her, or she's getting into like mental illness.
Yep.
I would actually accept Aunt May, the sexy Aunt May, with mental illness, just to give you that illness factor that plagued Aunt May since her inception.
Yep.
But then again, that's a big thing to put into it. But I kind of get hints of that when Peter doesn't come back home and she calls all the cops.
Yep. How do you feel about Flash? I have a rant. Can I please go on a rant here?
Wait, first let me answer your question.
Okay.
All right, Flash Thompson. Flash Thompson, in every form that I've read Flash Thompson he was an athlete, big, tall, 6'3", trumps over Peter Parker, physically demanding presence.
Yep.
I watch this and I see someone shorter than Peter Parker.
Yep.
Skinnier than Peter Parker.
Yep.
And pretty much a cyberbully.
Yep. I'd love to go on a rant about Flash if you would let me.
Yeah, fine. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm just going to come out and say this. Every time the actor who played Flash Thompson, let me pull up his name here so I don't disparage him.
He was getting death threats.
I understand this.
I don't agree with the death threats.
No, of course not. It's never right to threaten someone over a movie role because they're just actors, right?
But he, in all realism, he did do a decent job as Flash Thompson during the party scene.
Penis Parker?
Yeah. And
Okay. I'm gonna go on my rant now. Hold on. I'm just pulling up his name.
He played in a few movies I've seen.
Sorry about this. Like I said, it's our first podcast. Tony Rivoli.
Yeah.
Let me just say something, okay?
He's never gonna be Venom.
This guy, okay, was the worst part of the film, in my opinion.
Oh, come on.
Every time he was on screen, I was cringing.
Yeah, I can see that.
For three reasons. One, the things he was teasing Peter about, like, oh, your name is Penis Parker, or you're not really friends with Spider-Man, are you, Parker?
No, but that's very realistic to
Flash.
high school.
Yes.
No, high school in general.
But what I'm saying is,
bullshit in high school. It's
yes,
like, that's really realistic.
It was just so he wasn't well executed, in my opinion. It was just there was no like
But the
sting in the things he was
Yeah,
saying.
but the actual bullying itself was pretty on the nose. Well, not
I don't-
physically
I don't-
bullying,
I don't
but
know.
just the emotional
I don't know.
bullying.
For me personally, his little drone robot that came out of his chest,
Oh,
and
yeah, was
I
jumping
believe
ahead?
I believe her name was Karen.
No, that's not the drone robot. That's the AI.
Yes, the drone robot,
Yeah.
Droney,
Yeah.
right? And Karen,
Yeah.
which was the AI in his suit, sort of like Jarvis,
Yeah.
right? Those two characters destroy anything Flash Thompson was in this film. Like
Oh yeah, I loved
they
Jennifer
they,
Connelly
they
as
I would take 10
Karen.
more scenes of them and 10 less scenes of Flash. Flash didn't even have to be in this movie, to
No,
be
that's
honest.
true.
Like,
Well-
what was his purpose? To call Peter Parker Penis Parker?
Some might say, what was Spider-Man's purpose in this film? He had no motivation other than being in the Avengers.
At least, if you're gonna have Flash be a bully, at least push him once, or throw a spitball at him, or something intimidating.
But he's not intimidating. It's the thing is that the reason why you're supposed to sympathize with Flash in this movie, the reason why he's bullying him is because Peter
Is
just
better than him?
smarter than him, has the correct answer at the correct time.
So-
After
see, I've seen a lot of theories online speculating that maybe this Flash Thompson character, the only reason he's in the school and on the, I guess, debate team, was because his parents could afford it.
Yeah,
Not because he's actually
and
smart.
another issue I had with the film was a small issue was Midtown High.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Midtown High?
I believe so.
Yeah. Midtown became a science school.
Yeah.
In the comics, it was never a science-specific school, but somehow, they changed it to make it a science-oriented school. So you have all smart people in the school. So therefore, Flash Thompson is a smart bully, and he drives his daddy's Audi.
It's ridiculous.
And Peter Parker goes to public school. He's broke. The bully's wealthier. It seems like everyone in this school is wealthy because they're all in a science geared school that goes to DC for competitions.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, want to jump over to the DC plot? No, I want to first jump over to Spider-Man unlocking his suit capabilities.
With Karen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I had
that
a
was great.
feeling, especially now that the death of Stanley's wife, I wish they named her Joan or Joni instead of Karen. Because they could just put any name. Because Karen's not in the comics. Karen is just some random name. Imagine him talking to, hey, Joni, what's the best web shooter right now?
But that would be cool, but I don't think it would be possible because that was filmed in months, if not a year and behind.
Yeah.
her death. She recently just died.
Yeah. But they could have easily done that beforehand.
Yes.
Oh, do you want to know an interesting fact about Karen?
She is married to the voice of Jarvis
Yeah.
in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like that. I like that little.
I hope we
nod.
see her in the next movie, to be honest.
I loved Karen executing kill mode.
Yeah.
Instant kill mode. No, I don't want instant kill mode. Basically, I loved how Peter acted as Spider-Man and best Spider-Man, but his motivation
Was terrible.
for Spider-Man just bugs me so much. So much in the film. And
how do you feel?
just like the little things, like him activating the Spider Tracer, I kind of wanted him to get a little training first, because it seems like he already knew where the Spider Tracer was and how to use it.
Mm-hmm.
I just really liked it once he lost the suit.
That was cool.
Once
When he
lost-
put on his homemade suit.
Once he lost the suit, it felt more like Spider-Man instead of Dan Slott's Spider-Man, where I'm not really, because he's
fan?
already an adult at that point.
Yep.
He's starting out. I love the whole training sequence when he gets the suit back, when he unlocks the suit the first time, where he's locked in not danger room.
The damage control room.
Damage control warehouse, where he's talking to Karen and he names Karen and he's talking And then and then Karen tells her he's only been talking for 15 minutes.
Yep.
When it feels like an hour.
Yep.
And then they start training montage on how to use his web shooters.
Yep.
All that. I love all that. I just love the chemistry between Karen as an AI and Spider-Man. Love that. But I wanted a Spider-Man that created his own suit instead of getting handed down a multi-million-dollar suit from Tony Stark.
Honestly, Karen was great. The majority of these characters were great.
Oh, we're going to be talking about now the best scenes that are in Spider-Man Homecoming. What are your favorite scenes?
My favorite scene of the film was in the car.
With
Michael Keaton and Tom Holland.
He was just so intimidating.
Yeah, let's set this up. We kind of set it up
Yeah.
previously, but let's set up the scene. So Peter asks Liz out for a date. She agrees. He gets a suit, gets some dancing
Learns
lessons
how to tie a
from
tie
Aunt May.
with his hot aunt.
He goes to pick her up, and he knocks on the door, and
Batman comes in.
Yeah, basically, the Vulture opens the door, and it's revealed in a huge twist.
Oh, Spider-Man shitting himself.
Yep, in a huge twist that the Vulture is Liz's father. So
he's Spider-Man's Peter Parker is now standing in the kitchen, like doesn't know what to say.
Yep.
Sweating from head to toe.
Yep.
Like just utterly nervous that Liz Allen's father is his nemesis, and you felt the awkwardness in the entire scene, and then once all the awkwardness of that scene goes into the car on the transportation too,
Liz begins to talk about how Peter wasn't there when the elevator when the elevator crashed,
and Adrian Toome is no dummy.
Yep. She basically gives away that Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Yeah, and you see him putting things together as she says it.
Yep, you see his demeanor change from the dad to, oh wow, this kid is the person that's been trying to stop me this entire adventure.
But when Liz says, I'm going to have dad talk
Yep.
with Peter, he pulls out a gun.
Yep.
My favorite part.
Michael Keaton
scene.
says to Liz, I'm going to have some dad talk with Peter.
So go out there with your friends.
Yep, and he'll be right in.
Yeah, and he goes into the dashboard's glove
Pulls out a
box,
pistol.
pulls out a gun.
And he's like...
in a really intimidating way.
Yep, he's like...
You saw it in the trailer.
You better act correct. Because if you don't,
he gave you a freebie because you saved my daughter in DC.
Yep.
Oh, that has another thing. Going back to DC, one of my favorite scenes. You could tell this is a 6 month Spider-Man. Spider-Man that's only been working for 6 months as Spider-Man because he doesn't know how to wall climb. I was expecting him to wall run up that bitch, up the DC monument.
Yep.
But he doesn't know how to do that yet. You don't see his skill. Like he even says that this is 500 feet in the air.
The highest he's ever been.
Yeah, it's the highest he's ever been, and he doesn't have his parachute, so it's instant death. And the whole scene of him climbing the walls, I just said, yeah, that makes sense. He's a beginner Spider-Man, and he doesn't know how to break the glass. But the whole thing, how he's climbing and he doesn't know how to wall run.
Yep.
I was just waiting for him to vertically run up the wall. But no, that didn't happen. It's the small things that I really like.
Yeah.
Like the instant kill and the web
the
shooters.
instant kill feature of the suit.
And when he fully unlocks the suit and he tried to web zips and he just falls on his ground, or he jumps off the car or the street light and he just falls because he doesn't know how the suit works, and he's dealing with like electric taser webbing while he's trying to sneak up
and
people.
web bombs and all this craziness.
And small things like that.
How do you feel about the little scene where he's in the suburbs after the party and he's going to go after the Vulture and his crew?
Oh, the soccer scene?
Yes, but during the homecoming dance where he leaves unexpectedly.
Yeah. Oh, when he puts on the suit?
Yes,
yeah,
and he goes to web swing and he realizes, I'm in the freaking suburbs with no buildings or light
Oh, when
posts.
he runs out the
Yeah,
I
so-
hate to run.
So he's like, oh, I guess I can't web swing. So you just see him running.
No, I think he jumps out through suburbs and he's wind up in a
field.
football field.
Yep.
And then he starts running and say, it's an oh fuck moment on his part because now he has to run, and his running doesn't look high powered at all.
Yep.
I wanted him to like. I don't know. It might have been the scorer's problem. Didn't like give that levity like how the original Spider-Man.
Yep.
Like every time he swings, it feels like a big thing.
Yep.
And you don't see a lot of swinging on buildings in this Spider-Man. You don't.
No.
Because he's in Queens. There's not a lot of buildings. He's not in Manhattan.
That's true.
Uh,
How do you feel about the resolution of the film?
Wait, I haven't went through my favorite part of the film. My favorite part of the film has to be the trailer moment, when the ferry breaks down in half, and the Easter egg of Scorpion.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
But before we get that, I love Karen and Peter's dynamic, especially when the Vulture tears the ship in half, and he's trying to web and keep the ship together.
Yep.
And says, "You're 98% successful."
98.
98. And then he says, "Yeah." And then you just see the building, the
ship start to break apart.
Yeah. And small things like he makes his own web fluid.
Yep.
That's why I really hate Andrew Garfield's character.
I see.
No, let me get.
Okay.
I hate Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man because he steals his spider webs. He steals his webs from Oscorp.
Okay.
Spider-Man's supposed to be a genius and make his own web fluid. And again, I want to see the whole thing. Web fluid costs a lot of money to produce, so he can't be wasting it because you see him make it.
Sure, but
I just like the little things, and those little things are all there. But it's just I wish they were prevalent more. Mostly the money aspect.
yeah.
Peter Parker's a broke kid, and he was a broke adult because he could be a multi-millionaire if he wanted to, but it's his power and responsibility that always was the excuse of why he wasn't.
Yep.
Dan Slott made him now both a billionaire and a superhero, which totally defeats the purpose in my opinion. But
Yeah.
I just like the whole thing that he's an everyman's hero.
Yeah.
Where he doesn't feel like he needs money. Like that's why I love Civil War. His appearance in Civil War. He's digging through garbage to get computer parts. You don't see that in this episode. This is like pretty much we have to make just a fun Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
That fits into the MCU.
Yeah.
More so fits into the MCU than a legit.
But to be honest, we'll never have a Spider-Man movie where it's purely comic scene by scene, you know?
I understand that, but just like the motivation. His Peter Parker's motivation. It's just the one thing that just bothers me. Oh, I want to be part of the Avengers. Kid, your uncle died 6 months ago. You should be like
Grieving still?
no, not just grieving. You should be like, I can't let anyone die.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, sandwich shop. Oh, look, a guy's dressing up like the Avengers,
Yeah.
robbing the bank. It's like, why are you Spider-Man? For the fucking glory hog of YouTube? Because you're also in your class watching your old videos?
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
that was a little weird.
That's a little, like, self-satisfying to me.
Yeah.
I mean, Spider-Man's not really a gloating type of person.
That's true.
It's just that's what bugs me. But I love this film.
It was very, very good.
Uh,
Do you have any, I guess...
what other favorite scenes of yours?
I really like the scene where Ned's like, oh, can I be the chair guy? And he's like,
Oracle?
no, I don't need a chair guy. You know, I'm fine. And then Ned finally gets to be the chair guy.
Yeah. I was really hoping for Ned Leeds to die in this film.
I mean,
no,
there's nowhere they can really
not,
go with him.
Not just Ned Leeds. I wanted someone close to Peters
to die?
because it would bring him the great responsibility.
Maybe, I don't know.
Like, we don't
maybe
know
Liz dies in the second one.
No, I don't care. Liz has moved to Oregon or something.
That's true.
I just want to know what happened to Uncle Ben. It doesn't seem like he died.
That's true.
Like, did this guy just leave his wife? And
Maybe he didn't die. Maybe he, just left Aunt May.
Oh, okay, that would be horrible.
It's never really been explained.
No, it hasn't. But it's such an easy thing. My uncle got hit by a car.
Yeah.
Carjacking gone wrong, and he got hit by a car, and it was Peter's fault. Some shit that has to be Peter's reason, because that would be the motivation to become Spider-Man. Because all that other shit doesn't fly with me.
Yeah.
I don't like the whole, I want to be part of the Avengers. But why did you want to be Spider-Man in the first place?
That's true.
Oh, but my favorite scene, it reminds me, when the Vulture tears a building down onto Spider-Man.
That was awesome. That was straight from the comic.
It was an homage to which issue?
Amazing Spider-Man 1.
No, not 1.
In the early hundreds.
Yeah. Want to look it up?
I'll look it up.
I'll put a link
Describe.
in the I'll put it in the video.
Okay.
Basically, Spider-Man's hands and head are trapped under all this rubble, and it pretty much has word bubbles saying, like, how am I gonna get out of this? Like, and the whole issue is pretty much him getting up the courage to
Amazing Spider-Man 33?
Yes, that's it. Amazing Spider-Man 33. What does it say?
Final chapter.
Yeah, the final chapter. Basically.
No. We were wrong. I'm sorry.
Wait, no, we weren't.
It's Amazing Spider-Man 151.
No.
The one with the word bubbles.
No, but that's an homage of the same cover.
Okay, never mind. Amazing Spider-Man 33.
And what does 33 say on the cover?
The final chapter.
That's it?
Yes.
Well,
this is Amazing Spider-Man 151. We're going to remember, we're putting these in the video.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It's 33,
okay.
right?
Yes.
And I love Peter's reaction to when the building falls onto him. He acts like an actual little boy at that situation.
Yeah,
like
he's
an
scared.
actual 15-year-old. He's literally thinks he's going to die at that point.
Yep.
He doesn't feel like he has the confidence to open up. In my version of the movie, I would have like him seeing Uncle Ben.
Yep.
And in my version of the movie, Uncle Ben motivates him to lift up the rubble.
That would be cool.
But since his motivation is to become
an
Avenger and just keep on saying, I am Spider-Man, I'm Spider-Man. Him lifting it up was just very, very cool. Yeah. I loved it. What else do we get? Should we get to the Vulture in the final act of the film?
Sure.
So Spider-Man leaves his phone after getting dropped off by the Vulture and Liz Allen's father. He goes into the dance. You don't see that whole kiss thing that you see in the trailer. He pretty much stands her up saying, I gotta go. Sorry about this. You don't deserve this. And he goes, runs, and he calls Ned and says, you're going to be my chair guy. And that was pretty funny because when he gets caught, it was the funniest reaction. When he gets caught,
yeah,
he's watching porn. When the teacher finds him in the computer room or the library after helping Spider-Man. But I'm jumping ahead. Spider-Man gets the help from Ned Leeds to track his phone that he left in the Vulture's car, and he takes and he follows it to the Stark building. He's going to the Stark, and he finds out that the Stark building that is bought by an anonymous person, which we have theories about after, which we'll get into. So the Stark the original Avengers Tower was bought. Tony Stark sold it, and an anonymous benefactor bought it, and they're clearing out all the inventory and all the goodies and treats that are in Avengers Tower. And Vulture is trying to hijack the plane.
Yep.
So Spider-Man sees that he's going for the plane, and he knows that Happy Hogan's going to be there, and all the stuff is going to be gone at that point. So Spider-Man weblines the Vulture after getting out of the rubble.
Yep.
And he's flying with him to the thing. The Vulture gets into the plane. That's now invisible.
Yep.
And Spider-Man knocks the Vulture suit out of the vacuum, keeping everything intact. So everything comes flying down, and the Vulture destroys the plane, and Spider-Man diverts the plane to what looks to be Jersey.
Yep.
The boardwalk. I'm not sure. Don't quote me. I'm Canadian. Knocks the plane down, and did the Vulture actually fight? They don't really fight that often.
He used his talons on his feet to fight.
Yeah, you don't actually see a lot of fighting.
No, not a lot of fist fighting.
At all. You don't actually see Spider-Man throwing punches at all in this film.
I think you see it against Shocker.
He's not really throwing fists.
Yeah, he gets smacked into a
When I think
school
about
bus.
it, when I think about it, Spider-Man hasn't thrown a punch in the entire film.
Yeah,
Why?
I don't know. That's weird.
I know. Maybe because he doesn't have someone that is actually can go toe to toe with him. Like, you don't have a guy in a rhino suit. I mean, all Spider-Man villains are pretty much humans in robotic armor.
Yeah, that's true.
But again, I want to see punch thrown. He mostly web lines people. I get the reason why. I guess he really fucks up the lizard. Not the lizard, sorry, Scorpion.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the only person he fucks up.
Yeah, in the entire film.
Yeah, which gives a perfect motive.
But it was just Mark Gargan as himself, not even as the Scorpion.
Yeah.
Not yet, at least.
So he defeats the Vulture's equipment, gets destroyed on landing, and Spider-Man tries to save the Vulture because he saw that the alien technology is gonna explode.
Yep.
And he does something. The Vulture explodes, somehow survives, and he webs up the Vulture onto the Stark goodies, and says, "Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man." And Spider-Man's just like on the Ferris wheel, looking out, like totally destroyed, like he's in pain.
Yep.
And then we're getting to the most almost comic accurate scene with the Iron Spider reveal.
Oh, at the end.
Yeah.
Do you think that suit is for Peter, or do you?
Oh, that suit is definitely for Peter.
Do you think that suit's going to be used for Miles?
No.
Because
absolutely not.
I don't know if we spoke about this earlier in the review. I can't remember, but Miles Morales was teased to me in this film.
Yes, Donald Glover.
Donald Glover plays
Glover's
the Prowler.
Claire. Yes, I don't know his name right off the top of my head. What's his name?
The Prowler?
Yeah, the Ultimate Universe Prowler. He's not playing Happy Hogan. Not Happy Hogan, sorry. Hoagie Brown in the 616 universe. He's playing the Ultimate Spider-Man's Prowler, which is a thief instead of a vigilante.
Aaron Davis.
Yes, Aaron Davis. I liked him. I liked him because he looked like a totally stoned criminal.
Yeah.
I like that.
He's going to make a good Prowler if they ever put him in the
People wanted
suit.
him to be Miles.
He's too old to be Miles
He
Morales.
is too old. But I feel like Miles Morales is just going to complicate things. I think Amy Pascal would love Miles Morales to be in a Spider-Man movie. But I think Kevin Feige doesn't want that, and I think he just wants to leave it as Easter egg, but you never know. The Iron Spider suit looks amazing. It's pretty much an updated version of what the Iron Spider suit looked like in the comics. I loved the way it looks, but when I say most comic accurate, because in Civil War, Spider-Man unmasks himself in a press conference as being Peter Parker Spider-Man, and J. Jonah Jameson loses his shit and passes out. And after he announces, so when Tony Stark said, "Put on the suit," and we have reporters out there, that's pretty much saying, lose the suit, put on the suit, go outside and unmask, or go and take off your mask. Because at this state, at the MCU, the Registration Act is in full effect.
That's true.
So once the Registration Act is full effect, any new Avengers has to be registered. And I think that was a big motivation why Spider-Man didn't want to join the Avengers at that point. Yet he should have been thought about that beforehand. Because the reason why he wears a mask is because his identity is a secret, because the people he loves might get in danger. But you don't see that at all in the film. Okay, Josh, I'm really interested. What are your thoughts on Aunt May walking in on Peter?
That ruined some of the mystique for me, to be honest. I think that she should never know that he's Peter.
I agree. Well,
that he's Spider-Man, I guess.
In the comics, you had a lovely scene where Aunt May just tells Peter, "I always known. Like, there's no way I could be living with you and not know."
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
That would be great, but not the way they did
the what
it.
the fuck scene at the end. I digged it, but the one thing is she gonna have a breakdown and not remember? Like, we don't know her mental
her mental state.
Yeah, at this point, because she looked like she was having a breakdown when Peter was missing, and you need to have something wrong with Aunt May. She always had some type of illness holding her, and there was always a reason why Peter needed to A, live with Aunt May, B, help Aunt May out, and the struggle. I just want to see more of the struggle of being Spider-Man and Peter Parker, the duality in it. And I just didn't get to see the duality of Spider-Man and Peter Parker. Because Spider-Man, again, reaffirming the same shit I've been saying over and over again. I just wanted a Spider-Man that has money issues. I hope we see that now that he brushed Iron Man off. I think he's taking that personally now.
Hopefully, he's more grounded in the next movie.
Well, he's still rocking the same suit.
Yeah.
Which I kind of want him to go back to basics.
Do you think that he'll be using Karen in the next film?
Yeah. Karen is just too good. But the thing is, as much as I love Karen, that should be
A last resort.
no. After Infinity Wars, he ditches the Spider-Man Tony Stark suits altogether because the films, like the best part of the films for me, was after he lost the suit. As much as I loved him, you're 98% successful, and the instant kill scenes and the camaraderie between that, I like Spider-Man where he's just boots on the ground, doesn't have anything but his shooters.
That's the Spider-Man everyone knows and loves, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't need 100. He doesn't need 128 different web shooters. He just needs one,
Yep.
a line, and it's about him and how to use those different things to benefit. What do you? And Ned Leaf saves him when he's in his old suit because the web shooters got knocked out of his hands, and apparently Ned Leaves know how to shoot it, web shoot it perfectly.
I mean, it's not that hard.
What did you think about the after credit scene, where Captain America just says "you're stupid" to the viewers about patience?
Oh, that was great. Let's talk about Cap for a quick second.
Yeah, he's in the film throughout the film.
He's in the film in little PSAs that are played on TV.
Yes, before he was considered enemy of the state.
Those are great, honestly. Those bump up the film to such an enjoyable
But then
level.
at the end, he's
Yeah,
saying
the
patience.
second after credit scene is him just trolling the audience, talking about sometimes.
Patience isn't a good thing.
Yeah, sometimes you don't
It's a
get
waste of
rewarded for being patient.
Which is, we didn't really get awarded.
It was just
It was a
very
trolling moment. Well, I guess we're done, right?
funny. Yeah. Final thoughts? Where does this rank for your Spider-Man?
Okay, I'll rank off my Spider-Mans for you. My favorite to this day is Spider-Man 2. It's just Sam Raimi hit it out of the park with that film. All the motives of reasons why he's Spider-Man are in that film. The action scenes, the sound, the score behind them, just felt so heavy and so pumped up every time. Especially when Spider-Man swings, every time he's going into the action scenes. His score was amazing. So I rated it Spider-Man 2, all-time favorite. Spider-Man Homecoming, as much as how much I shit over this movie, I love it so much.
Okay.
I might buy it on Blu-ray. That's how much
Really?
I love it. Yeah. And then Spider-Man 1. So I got Spider-Man 2, Homecoming, Spider-Man 1. Spider-Man 3, Amazing Spider-Man. And
then
finally, the
Amazing-
shit show of Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Wow. See, you're going to be so shocked and appalled by my list.
Probably.
My first and favorite Spider-Man movie, obviously, is Spider-Man 2 because it's nearly perfect. Then Homecoming. Then Amazing Spider-Man 2. Then
Why?
Spider-Man 1. Then Amazing Spider-Man. And then Spider-Man 3.
Why?
Why what?
Why in that order?
Because the scene with Gwen.
Oh, the Gwen scene where the spider web creates a hand?
Yes.
The web creates a hand.
That scene is one of the most emotional scenes in any Spider-Man
I understand that, and I kind of agree, but the whole scene that pulled me out of the scene was the web slowly reaching
I know.
her, and the hand grows out of a web.
movie. Well, we both have a difference of opinion, and that's my opinion.
But Amazing Spider-Man 2 was just...
I loved it.
It's worse than Spider-Man 3.
I think Andrew Garfield is the second best Spider-Man / Peter Parker of all time.
No, his Spider-Man was a skateboarder.
Well, his Spider-Man looked around the proper age, not like a 40-year-old Tobey Maguire.
How about Homecoming?
Okay.
No,
fair
but the thing is, proper Spider-Man hasn't been a teenager in the Amazing Spider-Man universe for not that long.
Mm-hmm.
He was a university student when he met Gwen Stacy, when he met MJ. They were all university students. They all college buddies. They were adults. So I don't know why people think, oh, he met MJ in high school. He met Gwen in high school. No, that wasn't the case. Most of the women he met was when he was in university and college.
That's true.
So even in the comics, the original Amazing Spider-Man 616 Universe Peter Parker, he was only a Spider-Man in Amazing Fantasy, his first appearance. He was only a underage kid in Amazing Fantasy 15, the first appearance, and I think up to like 15 issues after Amazing Spider-Man, because the comics code couldn't allow a kid to be in danger.
Okay, well, that's just my fucking list, okay? You don't have to agree with it.
He was garbage.
That's just
How
my
the
list.
Rhino? How the fuck did you fuck up the
Paul
Rhino?
Giamatti's amazing.
His Rhino in 2 seconds of the film.
So that's fine. If you can look past Jamie Foxx, that movie is amazing. But we're not here to talk about Amazing Spider-Man.
come
2.
on, you can't-
Maybe we can review it on a later
Wait,
show.
what do you mean? You can't deny that the Sandman, the origins of the birth of the Sandman.
That was in Spider-Man 2, no?
No, it's Spider-Man 3, the birth of the Sandman.
I thought Spider-Man 3 was Venom.
It is, but Venom,
And Sandman?
Sandman, and the New Green Goblin.
It was okay.
The birth of the Sandman almost made me cry because it was beautiful. Once out of sand.
I think Spider-Man 3 is a waste of time, personally.
No, half of it's good, half of it's shit.
Well, if half of it's good and half of it's shit,
But
you're still eating shit.
Okay, look at this. Okay, put it this way. Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Okay.
You got Meth Head Green Goblin.
Okay.
You got Electro.
Yes.
Daft Punk Electro.
Okay.
And you got the Rhino. They're 3 for 3 for shit.
Now the Rhino was good.
The Rhino was only in it for 10 seconds. You can't say it's good. You don't even see the final blow of the sewer head.
That's fine.
Sewer cap.
Personally, the ending scene of Amazing Spider-Man 2 is better than anything in Spider-Man 3.
The ending scene where he's fighting the Rhino?
No, the ending scene where Gwen falls off the tower.
I can agree with at some point with that, but the whole movie as a whole was just bogged down by exposition and will they, won't they, when you just know the ending's coming. You know what was going to happen to begin with. And they cut a lot of MJ scenes in that film.
Listen, we can debate
talk
this
about
on
this all
another
day.
one.
Yeah, we could talk about that. We could fully review the Amazing Spider-Man trailer.
We might do that.
The Amazing Spider-Man duology, as people would say.
Yeah, because the third one doesn't fucking count.
What third one? No, it's...
Amazing Spider-Man. Yeah,
yeah, because he doesn't deserve a third one.
Okay.
So yeah, that's all we got for you right now.
Thank you for listening to the first
And
ever
we hope you enjoyed
Comic Book
it.
Authority podcast. Go out and see Spider-Man Homecoming if you haven't. We'll be back very soon.
And please let us know in the comments what you would like us to talk about.
Yep.
And
here's what we'll do. For every like, we'll take a tally for the likes and dislikes, okay?
All right.
The likes will be another Spider-Man show for episode 2. And if this video podcast, gets dislikes, we will talk about more general comic news. What would you like to do?
If this, all right, if we get a lot of likes, actually, whoever in the comments puts up a next show, a show idea, and how many likes that comment gets, that's our next show.
Okay. Yeah. You decide what our next episode will be about.
We're thinking about Wonder Woman.
And reviewing the great story that is Spider-Man Reign.
We haven't finished reading it. You haven't finished reading it yet.
No.
You're going to have a lot of words to say.
I hope I will.
And we might do Death of Virginia DeWolf, Jean DeWolf.
Yep. But then again, like we said, that's coming at a later time.
Yeah. Let us know. You want us to review? Let us know what you want us to talk about, and we'll see what we can do. As always, I'm your host, Dominic, and I'm here with
Joshua.
And see you guys later.
Follow us on Instagram at Comic Book Authority.
Oh, yes. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter.
Facebook.
Yeah, and
Comic Book Authority.
Like, favorites, and subscribe us on
YouTube.
SoundCloud, YouTube, all at Comic Book Authority.
Yep. Take care, everyone.
Goodbye.
You're still here? It's over.
Go home. Go.